Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to show you another circle that's a kilometer wide that I found kind of on the outskirts heading towards the same river area. Now, is it a strike? Well, you be the judge. It seems to me that it's kind of a little out of place following the striations of sand. It seems like it kind of got in the way of the normal lines that were moving across the desert towards the ocean. So you be the judge, but to me it looks like it's another almost perfect circle in there. I'm not against it being disproven, but it just was weird. I was looking at this, and I'm just going to close this. Notice it was a kilometer across right there. It just kind of stuck out, you know, when I see these, what I call flood basin, or, I mean, it's a kilometer long, but it's a place where water would gather, and kind of in the middle of a bunch of mountains, because when you get away from here, you can see it was headed towards the eye of the Sahara. I'll just move that around that way, and you can see more there. I was just kind of curious about this land from here to here and what it could have separated in terms of water passageways. This is a real mess, but when you get in here you can get to that area that I showcased on my video just the other day about how I think this was an ancient lake, and now it is filled with sand. In fact, there's a bunch of areas that could have been larger areas full of water. I'm going to be looking at this a little closer. In fact, listen right now. This right here is another strike that someone pointed out to me that actually lines up with the Tenamor and the center of the Eye of the Sahara. It's right there. And if you go straight down, I lost it, but I call this the Eye of the Dragon right there. There it came back. And if you look at this very carefully, you can see the Eye of the Sahara sticking out right. Where is that? Oh, I got mixed up. Okay, let me go a little farther out. There it is right there. Now if you notice here, now this is a real stretch. A lot of people have been commenting that I don't have any scientific basis for my statements, and it's very much true. I invite you to check out some other channels. You know, I'm discovering as much as I am learning or passing on that knowledge that I, maybe it's knowledge, maybe it's just nothing. But the Tenamor crater is right here. I don't think it's exactly right there, but when I get in, we'll be able to find it. Just have to move around a little bit. I believe it's over to the right. And who says that craters have to be an exact line? I don't think you would find that. Where is that? There it is. I see it now. I was just not close enough. So let me go back out and show you one more time. I found it right there. So you've got, where is it? The Eye of the Dragon. There it is. Eye of the Dragon up there. And then the Eye of the Sahara down here. And you've got almost a perfect line. So if that's true and Alaska was the previous North Pole, then maybe it was a string of pearls event. But I don't have any reason why they couldn't have been off of a straight line. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, but I do believe they were pieces of a comet. And if not, then they were part of the asteroid belt that we're going through today. Right now, we're entering one. The Draconoids. I probably mispronounced that. Okay, so anyways, I think my main point was made. Just wanted to get some content out there. And yeah, 3 strikes in a row. And then another strike that I think I found right out there. That was where I was just now. Probably lost it already. There it is. You can see it right there. It's just kind of like a little pimple, right? And pimples that are perfect circles. I mean, it could have been something really small. It didn't have to be super big. But why would a circle show up there? Right at the edge of a mountain and where sand is. It looks to me like the sand was there first, but it got spread out. Maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? I can't see it in real life if I 3D. Oh, I'm using the wrong one. So here we are back at Google Earth. Google Earth works a lot better. So you can see it there. I was looking at this. I was like, okay, so you've got sand, and which way the water was going, I assume, was over on the right. But you've got this mountain here that's barely high enough. I want to check my theory that this lake could hold water. So I was going into the topographical maps to check that, and then I saw that circle. So zooming out of the eye of the, I call that the eye of the dragon. Ask mud fossil. Okay, what happened to my eye? Oh, there it is. So if we check the theory out, we can see that this was 1,600 feet, and the green is 1,096. So yellow is 12. So 400 feet difference right away with the yellow, and then the green is another 600 feet. So it's definitely a higher mountain right there. Now the thing here is that this sand is getting to the lake area that I described, and that is actually way less than 1,000 feet high. So definitely a difference. The question is what was over here? So it's not very far, 1,000 feet. That's not very different from that. So maybe if it was a lake, it was still not very deep. Now the shoreline here is quite a difference, but those are cliffs. And there was a river coming through here, so I believe it was more of a river than a lake. We've got what I think are dual shorelines. If we move in there and look at those, starting about here. Now does that mean that that was a lake right here first, and then this was the second one, or the other way around? I think it was probably the top was first, and then later on the water level went down for a long period of time and created a second shoreline. And by the way, you might see a third shoreline way down there. If you think that's from the river. Sorry, if you think that's from the wind, well, I don't think that wind creates lines like that. I guess it does if you look at the Sphinx. So are these lines then being layers of silt, layers of rock? It's not all sand, right? This is a mountain. Well, I guess that's a big question. I'd have to ask a geologist. This could have been the edge of a big river, but the way it looks doesn't look like a river side. It looks like a lakeside to me. You've got the ancient dam there going across for some function, probably when the water levels got low, probably not in the time of Atlantis. You've got this little road here. I've always looked at that one. That was one of the main things. I call that a canal. It still looks like a canal. It doesn't look like a dam. Maybe if I can get the topographical map on there, see if it'll show any differences. Maybe that is a dam. Maybe that's a dam. When you back out of here, you can see right here a very, very old, I mean, come on, when was the last time water came through here? Alluvial fan coming out from this direction. Was that also a river going someplace? You can kind of see, is that a road or a river going that direction? Over here, it looks like almost a line goes that way coming up here. Maybe it was a part of the major Tamanrasset River. Or maybe it was man-made, because look at the curve there. Why would it curve like that and just go directly over towards the concentric circles? Maybe the water was coming from that direction and that was the main power. So it was as curved as possible. Is that really man-made? Hard to believe. But it's quite a perfect curve. And then there's quite a straight line right there after that. And then the sand or the whatever happened here. You know, that's why I kept looking at the topographical map, because when I wanted to see the difference here, and that's where we were just looking, it seems like, yeah, once it got over the hill, it could go down on the other side. That's why I feel that was made like that, because this was a mountain going through. You have a mountain really high, 1,900 feet, going down to about 1,600 feet. And if you skip over to the other side, it's also kind of 1581, maybe 1519. So you've got quite a jump, and suddenly you got this weird type of cut through here. And why did that happen? Well, you had rivers here, so the rivers, but was that a man-made chunk of land right there? Highly doubtful they had that kind of technology. But could they cut into this existing land? Maybe. Was the sand there already? I don't think so. Jungle. So you had a different type of something going on, but a big difference. If a lake was around, that's a good spot for it, regardless of whether the sand was there or not, in my opinion. It's kind of a difference. Let's put it here and look at the color one more time. So that's 935. Over here is 1, 2, 3, almost 400 feet difference. Here it's more like 1, 2, still 200. That sand right there covers up land that I'd like to know the true height of. Of course, the sand is now practically rock. It's not, I wouldn't call it sand anymore. There's a lot of sand there, but I think that you've got a lot of hardened, probably limestone or something like that. Sandstone, at least. I don't know. I'm not a geologist, and I think I need to go back to school for this stuff. So that's the content for today. We could follow that going all the way over here. There was definitely a flood basin here and a couple of dams. So you've got a natural water direction, a natural, and it's not just a kilometer wide either. It's like 20 miles wide right there. Let's zoom in there and take a look. As I mentioned, I think that there was water going up to these mountains here. It's kind of, like I said, kind of a jump, huh? I mean, could water get up to 1,800 feet? Maybe I'm totally off. Maybe I'm totally off. It just seems to me that water could reach that high at one point. Maybe that's after the flood. Maybe that's caused by floods. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But you definitely had some lakes. You even had a lake up there of some sort. It was kind of like a little area where water could collect. That's one spot up there. There's another spot that's really big up there that you could have collected water too. Moving along, you've got this area here. I don't think you have any signs of any dams. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Seems like they have the dam up at the top to collect the water right away, and it runs along the mountain to kind of collect everything that comes off the mountain for a great distance. So it's not really collecting river water, but it's runoff from the mountain as well. That one's not here, by the way. I don't see any dams here, but you can see them down below. It's way, way down there, because here's the eye, and this is all filled with sand, so there's not much room. You do get signs of riverways. You see the rivers very clearly. I mean, they're more like modern day creeks, and there's even water out there in these creeks. I can show you man-made techniques for gathering water that I don't know if somebody's taking advantage of this water or not. And I've been looking at the modern day photos, and there's a lot of green now out there. This is Google, so it's not as updated. It's a little bit more moist. I didn't really want to look at that. I'll go over and look at that one thing I found. Look, here's another circle. This has to be water that did this. I don't really see that just happening because the sand got blown by wind. I could be wrong. It's a little high. It's a little too high to be full and have water that high. I don't know what would have held it in. Unless it was pure flood times like this. I mean, that's like what happens with the Grand Canyon, right? Water runs through there and it tears through and takes the sand away. Of course, it had to have been 5,000 years ago, if not lots. I mean, nowadays people are saying the Grand Canyon and the other canyons were not just done over 1 million years, that they were done in a faster period of time. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. Oh, I got kind of sidetracked over there. I guess I followed the wrong coast. Yeah, and see what it did was it took me practically through to the other side. So I always am curious if there was any type of a water function going through here to the other side. I mean, we're talking about just a short distance from here to here. That's 10 kilometers, 11 kilometers. And look, you can even see signs of some type of a weird canal right there. I mean, that looks more of a man-made straightness than it does natural. That looks like a man-made canal. Not just a river. So maybe there was a big, vast amount of water. And what was this? The plant that was moving the water? Not very far. And if it was covered with water, then it could have been, the sand could have been moved up on top of it. But I just kind of wanting to look over here at these dams. These are, I guess, more modern day structures. Obviously built when the water was way, way low, but still you can see some breaches. It's not like it's in the last 100 years. I mean, look at that. That looks like someone put a mountain out there. It's a 0.5 kilometer wide. Is that there naturally? No, that's definitely a man-made structure to dam water. It's going right across. The question is how far out did it go? Did it go under the sand? Is this so ancient it went under the sand? I've always looked at this line as a weird thing. Am I seeing an artifact in the photo? You see a line going across the mountain? This is impossible. It's got to be an artifact. Yeah, it's got to be an artifact. Sometimes you're not really sure what you're seeing here, and they disappear when you get up to it. Some kind of a weird line. Well, anyways, I'm not going to spend more time on that because that I can't tell. But now this dam here, and there's another one way down here, they're very clearly man-made dams. I'm getting slow reaction. That's Chingedi right there. So this is really the tail end. So what I was looking at that I thought was pretty weird was over here. Yeah, I was out here looking at something and I thought, well, that's cool. They actually have water that they've gathered on top of these things. I got to go to 2D. I don't remember where it is anymore. I got lost. Oh, I'm totally turned around, aren't I? Guess it was right here. Ah, yeah, I'll never find it. think it was like right out here. Ah, there we go, right there. Check that out. So you're going to find this interesting. And of course, I think this is more modern day. But the usage of sand to collect water, it's obviously still being done here. What do you see? You say, oh, those are just little wind. Those are done by wind, right? Well, yeah, I think the wind has made this shape. But initially, you can see failure. Why would there be this sand right there? How would it get up there? You can see it collected a little water right there. And this one isn't even correct. But each of the other ones make a nice little pool. A nice little water collection pool. You can see the water in it. And how big is that? Let's take a look at this one right here. Sure is seasonal. And by the way, there's a nice little area where water was collected here also. But were these things placed to collect water? It almost seems like it. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Because the natural shape definitely shows that that was made by wind. But how did the sand get up there to begin with? Could you drink that water? Would you drink that water? Water is coming back to the Sahara. That's 100 meters. You could have a boat in that. Okay, that's it. You can see lots of water around here in this little mountainous area. So 6 kilometers. Sorry, that was 6 kilometers wide, that whole thing. Alrighty, that's it for now. Have a good day. I just wanted to give you a tour around the Richat structure, the Eye of the Sahara. You know, take a good look at the surrounding geology and geography, whatever. Now we can see that this area here was actually a river following and flowing, and there was a cut through here that would allow it to get over this large area of land to the other side and go down and feed the concentric circles, which also looked like they were pretty high up. I believe that this also could have been a coastline over here, but I think that coastline is higher than the middle, so that means that the middle had to have been higher. Do I believe that the middle could have been higher and washed away? Yeah, I do. I also think that there was some type of a strike here that took away the mountains. I mean, if this is dome geology, then these mountains would be equilibrial. They'd be equal. There would be a circle. But suddenly there's this big missing part where the mountains don't continue. That's not what a volcano would do. That's what a comet strike would do. That's 2 kilometers. Anyways, I've talked about that in my other videos. Please check them out and have a great day. Bye-bye.